Hello everyone, this is Ponder on Weather coming at you with another update. In this update, we talk about our major winter storm that's going to bring some ice and some heavy snow, as well as a severe weather threat for parts of the south and southeast. So before I do get started, if you do like weather related content, please subscribe to my channel, as I will upload daily updates to keep you ahead of the storm. And I do ask you to share this video with your friends and family on social media. All right, so let's get started. Here is the latest watches and warnings as of this morning on Saturday. You can see they already have winter weather advisories and winter storm watches posted for Minnesota, getting into Wisconsin and parts of Iowa, as well as South Dakota, with this first little clipper system that's going to be coming across later on this weekend. And there's already winter storm watches posted for Nebraska, getting into Kansas as well. And that is just going to set the stage for our bigger snowstorm that's going to be in the ice threat as we extend getting into Monday and Tuesday. And then, of course, we've got some mountain snows out west and some much needed rain for the desert southwest and some heavy snow for the Four Corners regions. So we got a lot to talk about. I mean, let's kind of walk you through. Here's the overall surface map as of this morning. Going into this afternoon, we can see that snow moving in from the west to the east. That's going to bring some snow showers to where they have the winter storm watches right now in South Dakota, getting into Minnesota later on today. And as we kind of extend the view, that will just kind of amplify as we get into tonight, into tomorrow morning. Well, I do think you're going to be picking up some like say 3 to 5 inches in say the Minneapolis area and points southward. And this snow will kind of get into portions of Wisconsin by then. And then this will kind of extend into Michigan as well, and then dumping some sporadic snow showers into Iowa. But man, Iowa is going to get a lot more in the days ahead. So yeah, this particular event that's coming up, I mean, you could pick up, say, maybe a 3 to 5 inch swath in this area from Minneapolis to parts of, Wisconsin and parts southward, and then maybe 1 to 3 inches on the outskirts. And then it almost kind of gets to, getting into Wisconsin. And then this actually kind of extends into Michigan as well. But it kind of ends maybe, say, Detroit might not pick up any snow from this particular event, but you are going to be picking up some snow on the backside of the event. But look at the down south. So this is by Sunday. So we also have, say, a severe weather threat we're going to be dealing with for parts of the south, because we've got this upper level low that's been kind of just sitting all week long, pumping in that Gulf moisture. That is finally on the move, and that is going to set up a severe weather threat, unfortunately, say for the Dallas-Fort Worth area as we get into Sunday night into Monday morning. The Storm Prediction Center has already got a severe risk of severe weather for Sunday night getting into Monday morning. Now, we do have a little bit of what they call a cap in place, a capping inversion. But as this warm front as this upper level low lifts, we'll get into a warm sector. We have a warm front, we have a cold front, and this right around this low, they call it the triple point. That's where I do think storms are going to fire. And then we also have a very strong jet up above. I mean, we're talking 100 knots. So there's a lot of rotation in the atmosphere. But luckily, we do have a cap in place. So as storms start to rise, they get hit with that cap and they kind of squash back down. But in this scenario, we could have storms that develop above the boundary layer. That means elevated thunderstorms, and they can also be kind of turned severe as well. And this would be mainly a hail-producing storm. So if we're able to kind of say penetrate or erode the cap in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, then it will transpire to more of a damaging wind and possibly a tornado threat as well. So that is can't be ruled out as well. But right now, it looks mainly a hail threat coming up for the Dallas-Fort Worth area as we extend into Sunday night, going into Monday. And I do think this kind of extends up in this region as we go into Monday. So as we kind of take you through, as we get up above that, there's also that colder air going to be pressing in from the south. So I mean, from the north, and look at the freezing line. This will extend all the way, trying to get into the Texas Panhandle, but you'll have that warm surge out ahead of it, and where that transition zone takes place, man, you can really start getting some heavier snowfall totals in places into Kansas, and this will extend into Nebraska, and this will set the stage from a very heavy snowfall, I think. You might have some initial icing down even part south towards as south as St. Louis, but that's going to be just a light, kind of a light glaze. But that snow and ice threat will start really starting to line up along kind of the border of Missouri and Iowa, and then transfer to all snow on the north side and some heavy snow at that as we extend into Monday night. I really think it really starts to amplify, especially places like Omaha, Nebraska. I mean, you could be picking up, 18 inches from this snow event. And this will extend in, say, Des Moines, Iowa, possibly over a foot from this system, and getting into Chicago. Places like Chicago could pick up 6 inches from this system, and just point southward. I mean, there's probably an 8 to 12 inch swath that's going to be laying down in that area. And then especially as it getting into northern Indiana and northern Ohio, the amounts will kind of die down a little bit as this continues to move off to the east, as this warm sector tries to push in from the southwest. But yeah, we've got that cold air starting to press. So it's always that fight kind of going on. And then as this kind of extends, I mean, there's some very Arctic air. I mean, we've got, possibly wind chilled advisories setting up for tomorrow night. I mean, these wind chills could drop as low as 20 below zero. So we do have some Arctic air, and that's coming in on the backside, and that is feeding off this storm, and it's pressing against it, and that's what's called cold air damming, and that cold air will press further south and try to extend into Maryland, getting into DC, getting into Delaware. As this cold air kind of presses, and you'll have that transfer into, say, some more ice event potentially in, say, the DC area, and that will extend into portions of Pennsylvania as well. And places like Pittsburgh, I think you're going to be kind of like on the borderline as these winds are going to be moving in from the Appalachian Mountains. Kind of more of a rain event for you guys rather than missing out the snow, but it's not that far away where you're going to have some major ice threat just to the east of, say, the Pittsburgh area. So here's a graph of what I mentioned, what they call cold air damming. As these winds come around, this cold air presses, and it's typically on the east of the Appalachian Mountains. And as this warm sector moves in, and so that's where we're getting more of a rain event in, say, West Virginia, as we get into more of a dry pocket, because we have that cold air pushing in. And as it presses, it'll press that colder air a little bit further south and making that transition into an ice event, as well as snow. But that's why you're seeing a little bit further south in this area, because of that cold air damming hitting that area. So as we kind of extend the view, I mean, you can kind of see where that demarcation line of the snow and the ice threat really kind of sets the stage here, mainly a rain event to the south. But I do feel you're going to be getting some say snow and say Delaware, Maryland, getting into Philadelphia, New York City, going into Pennsylvania, and extends into New York. And then we'll have some backside moisture as well, where this elongation, we could be picking up some very healthy snowfall totals in that region. So if we kind of zoom in to those areas for the Northeast, you can kind of see where that mark plays out into Jersey. I mean, I think it's going to be more or less, a rain event, and then transfer to all snow on the backside, and Jersey picking up anywhere from 3 to 5 inches from this system, going into Long Island and getting into New York City as well as Philly. And this will, like I mentioned, on the backside by Wednesday morning, you'll have an all snow event kind of taking over into in Jersey as this kind of winds down as we extend. So taking a look at the overall picture of how this is going to play out over the next 5 days as far as precipitation. We do have some cold air pressing in from the northwest, is going to bring some very beneficial rains to just north of California, but also the southern regions of California as well. And we have a wetter pattern coming up from Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday for the desert Southwest. Places like Phoenix could pick up an inch and a half from the system. Vegas picked up some rainfall yesterday, kind of broke their streak, and I think they'll be adding to those totals over the next several days. But some pretty healthy rainfalls in this region. And of course, as where our main event, where that surge comes in, we'll be picking up, here's the graph on the right-hand side, anywhere from 2, 3, 4-inch amounts in these areas. And this is your liquid precipitation. And here's your snow. So let's start off with the Northwest. We're talking places like Vancouver could pick up, say, 1 to 3 inches of snow over the next 5 days. Even parts south, say Portland, could pick up at least a dusting. I'm not talking about any accumulations for you guys, but at least you might see some snow out of this deal over the next several days. But man, these snows in the mountain regions are very impressive. We're talking upwards of maybe 5 feet of snow just in the next 5 days. So this is incredible ski weather coming up. And even for places like Flagstaff, 2, 3 feet is not out of the question. I mean, some very healthy snows where we have ample amount of moisture going to be dealing with. So not only is going to be dealing some very beneficial rain for the desert Southwest, but also for the ski resorts out here. So definitely make your plans accordingly. And as this continues pushing off, yeah, some of the heavier snows could really start to line up. And Nebraska, getting into Kansas and parts of, like I mentioned, Des Moines, Iowa, getting into south of Chicago from this system, an 8 to 12 inch swath going into northern parts of Indiana. And then as we extend going into the mid-Atlantic as well as the Northeast, we could be picking up a good 3 to 5 inches in places like, say, Philly, places like New York City, getting into maybe a little bit lighter amounts as we extend into Delaware and to Maryland, maybe an inch or 2 in Washington, D.C., but mainly kind of less than an inch of snow in, say, Pittsburgh from this particular system through Wednesday. Because we'll have that dry slot move in, but just to the east, I mean, some heavier snowfall totals for you guys in central and eastern Pennsylvania. But we'll also have them be dealing with an ice threat from this system as well. So there's a lot going on. Like I mentioned, we could have a dusting of glaze happening, say parts of, say, St. Louis. But then the main ice threat is going to be along that boundary line, you can kind of see the map here where this ice is going to lay out. So definitely be on the lookout for that. That'll be mainly a Monday to Tuesday event. But I kind of zoomed in. Here's some of the snowfall totals of some of the highest snowfall totals I feel like there's going to be coming from this system. You can see kind of the bullseye right around the Omaha, Nebraska area, where upwards of, say, 20 plus inches from this snow for some very heavy snow is going to be breaking out. But an easily foot to 18-inch swath in that area, getting to, say, 14 inches in Des Moines, going into Cedar Rapids, a foot, Davenport. So some pretty healthy snowfall totals from this system. But we also have another system just right on the heels. So that was through Wednesday. And by Thursday, we have yet another system. And this system looks to push even further south than what the old system, and they won't have them be dealing with the cold air damming from this system as this extends, say places like West Virginia, getting into Virginia. These could be picking up some pretty healthy snowfall totals. And DC, and then even the GFS is even beyond bullish on this system. So it's too far away to kind of go into details from this system. But yeah, we have another system that's going to be right on the heels from this system that's going to be bringing in some heavier snows as well and portions south than what you're seeing right now. So hey, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video. Definitely leave your comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch the latest update where I protect you before and after the storm.